He's here. Matty Johns, are you
Matty
there?
Johns, welcome.
Missile Fletch. How are you, boys?
Yeah, going good, going good. Just a bit of housekeeping. I understand you're going into work a little bit earlier today. What's all that about?
Oh, I've got to shoot a bit of a promo.
Oh, okay.
You like those things.
You're not going in there to eat all the food before the
Yeah, I'm going to get in there early before Jimmy Zinger gets in there. One of our producers, honestly, you never see him till the food comes out. And he's all over it like a cheap suit.
Matthew, just on the eating, I just can't stop eating. I cannot stop eating. When does this hunger, when does the ravenous stop?
Fletch, I've got a little trick of the trade I'm doing at the moment. So whenever I feel hungry,
yes,
I'll drink about half a litre of water and chew some gum to satisfy the taste buds.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, but
you know what I don't mind as well is the 0-calorie cordial. So the water tastes a bit better. Yeah, it's pretty good.
Okay, that's another good tidbit.
It kind of satisfies the hunger a little bit.
Right.
Matty, we've got...
I'll tell you another one. Tell you another beauty missile. Just go and brush your tongue. Brush your tongue with your toothbrush. Get the toothbrush out and just brush your tongue.
Okay.
Really?
Yeah. Don't do it. Don't push too deep, though.
Brush your tongue? Why? How's that? I get my stomach's rumbling.
Mate, I'll tell you, Fletch, just trust me.
Okay.
Next time you're hungry at home, just go and put some toothpaste on. Now, Fletch, what a toothbrush is, right? Mate, just brush the tongue.
Yeah, there's someone here who works here that probably needs that, and he does the breakfast shift.
Oh, Matty, we've got the Bears are announced today, and Bears Head has a Bears T-shirt on. And he's got a 4XL, and it fits him like a glove. 4XL T-shirt.
It must be a bodgy.
Nah, I reckon it's
from
legit.
Poppy's. It's from Poppy's Lane in Cooter.
It's tight on the pecs.
No, it's
You've been benching.
but Matthew, it's official. They're back.
Yes.
Are you? You're excited?
I am. It was one of my favourite grounds to play at. Not that, I mean, they'll be playing there, I'd say, once a year. Or, I know there's the romanticism, but the question will be asked, Fletch, do you play the game there? Because, it's not a big ground. What would it fit these days? 12 to 15?
Yeah, I don't think it 15, no way. I'm saying it'd be less than Sharpe Park with all their building stuff.
Here's another question for you, because one of the great things about North Sydney Oval was the brass band, the big the trees, all that sort of stuff. But
Moreton
the
Bay.
cricket pitch, like the Moreton Bay Fig, but like the cricket pitch, these days, I'm certain the RLPA would not allow games to be played with a cricket pitch in the middle.
No. Yeah, I reckon you're right.
I reckon you're right, especially getting backslammed by Greg Florimo there. Whack.
You got backslammed by Florimo?
Florimo ran over me 3 times. Flo ran over me 3 times, scored 3 tries. I've still got his footprint on him. He was the Mickey, wasn't he? Oh, God.
He was a good player, mate. Of all the Sixers, mate, like that era of when you're playing against blokes was like blokes like Kevy, Cliffy, Loz, Anthony Mundine, Steve Carter was a handful. I reckon Flo was just about the biggest handful because, mate, he was big. He was like really aggressive and had late footwork. He was a handful. I mean, Terry Lamb was another one in that era. There was just every time you went out, you were always against someone.
Same build. Is that why you went berserk that day and took Nigel? Was it Nigel Roy's head off?
No, it was Scotty Petherbridge.
Scotty Petherbridge. You took Petho's head off from the scrum.
Crystal Peth. I know. He took the ball up. And I went in and what about this? I represented myself at the Judiciary. Because I was so confident I could get off. And I said, look, they got me for careless, right? So I went, aha. I'm going to get away into technicality here. So I went in and said, okay, I think you've got the charge wrong. It was reckless, but it wasn't careless because I cared that I hit him high. And they said, no, we're measuring intent. And I said, well, I went in with no intent. And they said, no, we have witnesses that heard you say, let's take his effing head off. So there was,
you're up against snitches.
Snitches get stitches. Matthew, righto, so we got to build this team. We've got to build the North Sydney team. Oh, sorry, North Sydney. The Perth Bears or the Western Australian team. What sort of players would you like? Now, let's not go Okay, well, let's go for the 7. I want a 7. I want a 9, and you can't have Harry, but you can have everyone else. 7, a 1, and an 8.
Well, I'd talk broadly to start with.
Yep.
I'd sign number 1, you sign a strong front rower.
Yep.
Number 2, you sign a pure number 7. And then you pick a handy Quicksilver number 9, and you build the side around that. You need that. That's the basis of your team. Chris Anderson used to say all the time, when they put the Melbourne Storm together, Chris Anderson said, just get me a great front rower and a great halfback and I'll win a comp. And they got Lazo, and Noddy was on the up, and they got him. And they had some fair players around him, like Nick Howe was there and whatnot. But that was the basis of the team. And I think the same. If you can get in there, you don't think about the whole roster.
No.
You just think about a couple of blokes you can land in vital positions that'll attract other people. So get those blokes, get after those blokes, and after that you find blokes who are, well, as our old bloke of the Newcastle Knights, our old coach of the Newcastle Knights, Alan Bell, used to say, mate, sign them with the 2 T's. Plenty of tomorrows and plenty of toughness.
Okay, well, let's do an example. Who's a Lazo-esque player that is currently playing?
Well, I mean, the obvious one is Payne Haas.
Yep.
But I don't know. It'd take him a hell of a lot to get him out of the Broncos.
Yep.
You'd be looking at someone like a young guy coming through. You take a punt on a young bloke. Like, let's say, for instance, the young bloke at St George Illawarra, Egan.
Yep.
Right? You don't know how well he's going to come on, but you look at him and you say, mate, that kid's got a bit of something about him. He's got a bit of personality about him. Mate, he's fast. He's got a bit of size. He's one bloke you get and take a punt. But you need an experienced guy. Don't know who that is at the moment, Fletch.
Yeah.
This is the reason, Fletch. I think 2027 is a year too soon. I'd be more comfortable 2028. There's more players off contract. Because I'm thinking 18 months to set a whole club up on the other side of Australia. That's, geez, I tell you, that they'd have to go to work yesterday.
Will the halfback, as you mentioned, Noddy, so Noddy had already played first grade, albeit Super League, hadn't he? In 90...
Yeah. He played...
No, you're right. 98.
At Newcastle.
That's right.
Yeah, he played with us in 96.
Yep.
He played about half a dozen games in 96 with the Knights, and then went to the Mariners after that.
Who then would you feel is a halfback?
That's the hardest one.
Is it like there's a kid going around at the Roosters Toby Rodwell, who's 19.
Yep.
Would you start looking around at that age, or do you feel that we need someone now who's had first grade experience? Because it is a big ask.
Well, you have a look around the clubs, Fletch, and you look at clubs that are going to be really strung out as far as salary cap in a year or two. The obvious one that sticks out to me, and I loathe to say this because it's my old club, but if I was the Bears, you look at a club and you go, righto, well, Dylan Brown's going to Newcastle. That's going to put a lot of pressure on their salary cap if Kalen Pong is going to stay there. Right, those two blokes. So, righto, who's the next player coming through at the Knights? And you go, well, it's Fletcher Sharpe. Now, if we offer Fletcher Sharpe $800,000, are the Knights going to be able to compete with that? Mm-hmm. Well, if they've got Kalen and Dylan Brown, it's going to be really hard. So there's some of the players you look at. You look at players, and a lot of it is a punt.
But as a fullback, Matty, like Fletcher Sharpe as a fullback?
Fullback or six.
Yep.
I think the way you're seeing him play at the Knights at the moment, he's playing 6/fullback, and Kalen's doing exactly the same. They're playing interchangeable role. So he's a bloke you'd go after. Young guys like that. As far as an experienced 7, I mean, it's a year too long to get an Adam Reynolds over there. Yep. But
maybe a Sandon
that's
Smith.
the tough one.
But you're right, because you don't want to get an older player.
Can I throw you guys too?
Yes.
I've been thinking the whole time you two have been talking. What about from another club where they're a little bit blocked in their pathway? Suafea Longo and a Jonah Pezzett.
I think so. I mean, you're still taking a punt on the halfback there with Jonah. It doesn't matter who you go after. There's an element of risk. Sandon Smith would be a great pickup. Hugo pickup again. Yes, it's all risk, because if you're going to go after a pure 7 and there's not many around, you're going to be paying to get a pure 7. a top line 7 and take him into Western Australia, it's going to cost you 1.6. So you're looking at that. I think you're looking at that, just that next tier down. And
you know what? Your young bloke,
trusting they'll come on.
Your young bloke Cooper, he shouldn't have retired.
Get him out.
He should not have retired.
I mean, no, Fletch, he should have. He should have. Trust me. I asked him yesterday. We went for a bit of a stroll and swim, and I said, "Mate, do you miss it?" And he went, "Not one bit."
Yeah.
I said, "And the game doesn't miss you either." Son.
What about coach?
Yeah, that's important.
I look, the obvious ones, Wayne, Craig. You'd at least have a conversation with Craig. You go for any interest in going around, and he goes, "Nah, I've probably had enough. Oh, what if we give you 2.5? Oh, well, maybe a year or two." You ask the question.
That sounded like him too. Just do that again.
Yeah. Craig, you interested in coach? Mate, no, not really. I'll give you 2.5. Oh, well, yeah, maybe. Let me think about it. Again, I love when Billy out there they'll ask the first question of the press conference. Craig, what did you think of the some of the decisions back in? Yeah, well, again, I said, mate, sorry, again, it's the first thing you've said. It's just obviously a bit of a nervous tick or something.
Now, Matthew, you're pretty tight with the owners up there in the Titans. And we're hearing...
Not as close as Gordon.
No, not as close as Gordon. But we're hearing that Desi Hasler has got another clause that's come out. They don't make the semi or the top 8. They may look elsewhere. Do you feel now that, looking back, maybe Justin Holbrook was the right man for the Titans?
Possibly, Fletch. Possibly. It's all... I mean, they took a punt and decided to make a call thinking they could... Des looked the ideal bloke because, righto, what do they need? They need a harder edge. And he's the perfect bloke. Boys, it's such a mystery, that club. I can't work out. It's funny, I had a conversation... yesterday with a young coach. In Rome, we've just had a bit of a chat because what they do sometimes, young coaches will ring you when they're on the want. And they go, "Oh, mate, just ring to see how you're going." "Oh, mate, haven't heard you for ages. What's been happening?" "Mate, the Gold Coast, right?" A bloke was having a yarn, this young coach, and he just said, "Mate, if ever they were looking, what do you think?" And I said, "Look," he goes, "Mate, I reckon, I can't work out it. I reckon I could get them going." And this was just a general conversation. He wasn't pitching up. And I said, the problem is there's been about 6 or 7 blokes before you that have said the same thing, that look at that roster, look at the individuals on the roster and just go, "Mate, I can get these blokes going. Like, I can make this happen." And they just can't. It's the same thing. I think David Fafita is emblematic of that club. And the fact that nearly every... Like people said, if they move him on, shop him on, no one will be interested. Mate, there'd be most of the league interested because all the coaches, most of them, they're egotists. They'll look and they'll say, "David Fafita, mate, you watch, I'll get this bloke going." David Fafita is it's a mystery what it takes to get him going, and so are the team.
I reckon I've got one person I reckon could rev him up at the Titans, Sammy Burgess.
Mate,
but the thing is, we've got to go, Matthew. So we'll take this conversation up when I see you. And we've got Billy Moore on tonight. And, Matthew, who else is sitting with us?
We've got Volkanovski.
How good. For the whole show.
How good.
Him and Heine are going to go at it. We've got our own
to put you to sleep in an ad break.
No, that's NRL 360.
Thanks, Matty.
Good on you, Matthew.
That's Matty Johns.
That's next time.
Catch him on Morning Glory tomorrow from 9 a.m. with Webby, Kempy and Hogarth.
You're still here. We'll see more